Hello, Fort Worth, and welcome to this quick webinar where we'll be discussing how to turn every lesson into a STEM career lesson. So all of you on the call today or watching this webinar later are Fort Worth ISD teachers and administrators. I am thrilled to be an awarded vendor for your district, and I'm also looking forward to partnering with you because I see that we have very similar missions of preparing students to change the world through their future careers. So here we go. So my name is Ashley Pareda. I am the owner of Career in STEM. You may see Career in STEM on your awarded vendor list as Greater Good Consultants, which is actually the larger company that I founded in 2012. So if you've been looking for a career in STEM and couldn't find it, try looking for a Greater Good Consultants, which is the official company name. So I started Career in STEM out of the frustrations that I experienced as a middle and high school science teacher. My students had no idea what to do when they grew up, and I couldn't find any good resources to show them, so I made them, and that is what Career in STEM is today. These are some pictures of my beautiful family and some activities I've been involved in here in our local community. And I show you this because A, I think my kids are quite cute, of course, but also to let you know that everything that I've created in my store and all my resources that you're about to preview have been tried and tested and proven with real students. So why STEM careers? This is probably preaching to the choir, but just wanted to make sure that it's super clear the tremendous opportunity in STEM fields. There will be 3.5 million new jobs in STEM in the next 5 years. STEM professionals make double the national average, and across the country, and specifically in Texas, because you're seeing such an economic boom in your local communities, is a tremendous need among STEM employers for qualified STEM graduates and STEM workers. Overall, across the nation, there are far more available jobs in STEM than there are available workers. So the sooner we can prepare our students for these careers, the more our economy is going to continue to grow. My goal for you in this webinar is to help you help your students define their interests and connect them to careers. My approach is by using the same content, but through a new lens. So our mission for today is to learn how to turn every lesson into a STEM career lesson. I am not, however, advocating to do something different or extra. I feel that so often, especially in education, we are given so many different new things that we're expected to try and do and implement in our classrooms. That's not what this is about. My approach is by doing the same exact thing that you are already going to do, but by delivering it through a STEM career lens. So when I say same content, new lens, what do I mean? I have two examples for you. Our resources, our educator resources especially, span the pre-K to 12 spectrum. So I have an elementary example and then a high school example to show you what I mean by the same content, new lens. So we'll start with a Valentine's Day lesson. I actually did this with my son's class last year when he was in kindergarten. And the teacher approached me for some help in adding in some career connections. So what we did was exactly what she had done every year before that, which was an introduction to experimentation for her kindergartners, where students practiced with heart rate, so how to monitor your heart rate, and then the experimentation pieces of how to collect data and rudimentary analyzing of data. So we did the exact same thing that she had always done, but I added in a STEM career piece. So the easiest way was to just tie in cardiologist, a scientist who studies hearts. So the only extra thing I did in this entire lesson was define what a cardiologist is. So other than that one sentence, literally, everything else was the exact same. Going to the high school example, similar approach. I was teaching 9th grade physical science, and magnetism was always a challenging subject to teach. So I used my STEM career lens instead. So we still did, again, the exact same lab where they were making a thing to show what magnetic fields are, that they exist, and how they work. So we still did the exact same thing. But similar to the other lesson, all I did was deliver the content through the lens of a STEM career. This one happened to be MRI technician. So we were still doing the exact same thing. I was just having my students work as a related STEM professional. Then at the end, of course, the traditional lab conclusion, we still did that. But instead of just what is magnetism and how does it work, it was still those same essential questions, but students had to answer in terms of something that was more relevant. The relevant piece being the MRI technician career. So it's still the same content, still meeting the same learning objectives, just doing it in a more relevant way, a STEM career way. So my summary of that tip is to do the same standard. Teach your same content. The only next step or new step slightly would be to add in a career. When you're just starting out, it can literally be just naming a career that relates to what you are already doing. Of course, there's more, and of course you can do this on your own. This is not rocket science, but if you are looking for a starting point, I have over 150 prep-free resources that I've already created spanning the K-12 spectrum, using this approach already. And as an awarded vendor for your district, 25% off is yours for all Fort Worth teachers. So a lot of text here. The one thing I just wanted to underscore that I've already mentioned is the instant relevance piece. So my intent in delivering the cardiologist lesson was not to make every student want to be a cardiologist. Similarly, it was not to make every student want to be a MRI technician. What the purpose was to add that instant relevance piece. So they were understanding the content, but also how it related to real life. That is so important, especially when you're teaching science concepts that can be hard to understand, especially. For example, after my MRI lesson, a couple of days later, one of the students came back to me and said that his aunt had had an MRI scan that night. So he's not probably these days, he's probably not an MRI technician, but at least he was able to apply that to his real life, make connections, and see how that content related to things that happen in real life. One other thing to mention here is this approach can be used by any teacher. So any teacher of STEM subjects, gifted and talented, whether you're using this for enrichment or as a curriculum compacting option for students who have tested out of a unit, as well as CTE teachers. It's been very popular for both high school level CTE teachers to blur that line between shop and regular classes, as well as outreach activities to the middle and lower levels to gauge. So great, you've added in some STEM career connections to your lessons, and now you're ready to leverage that engagement. You get some students who are interested, which is the whole point. That's awesome. But the worst thing you can do is just let that interest go unchecked and unexplored. We need to leverage that engagement. The easiest way is with my premium career pages that I've developed. I have 5 different ones: interests, alphabetical, personality, gallery, salary. I'll show you alphabetical just because it's the most popular among the schools that already purchased this resource. So there's 2 ways, regardless of which of the 5 you're using, there's 2 ways to use them. One could be as a research tool for yourself. So if you want to try to add in some career connections, you can use this list as a helpful starting point to get ideas of careers that would fit. For example, if I was about to teach a phase change lab, phase change is physics, I could search for physics-related careers. Voila! I found an easy career to connect to what I was already going to teach. This could also be a great tool to send students to as far as independent research. So if you've done a lesson about environmental science, students can come here or to perhaps our interests page and explore careers in environmental science, where they can see what they like, explore, and be exposed to careers that will help them get to what they want. So speaking of these career pages, I have over 85 different career pages, and they're all there's new ones being added each month. Each page is set up in a similar way. It has a picture of the person doing it, student-friendly definition of the career, virtual job shadow, which is a day in the life, downloadable career information sheet in both English and Spanish, and a try it. I've noticed over the years that there are a lot of good resources for students to see it and read it, but there's not a lot of good resources for students to do something that connects to that career, to test drive it, so to speak. So the try it of all the pages is just that, a way for students to try out what that person really does. Going back to the career information sheet, It includes an expanded definition of the career and all the essentials that a student would need to gauge their interest, to see if this is really something they want to learn more about. Clicking on the salary will take students to the Bureau of Labor Statistics website, where they can continue their research and learn more. And all of the Bureau of Labor Statistics pages are free. So in addition to our premium pages, there's also the BLS, which offers lots of good free stuff. So whether you're using my pages or the BLS, having a next step to leverage your students' engagement is critical. And as a FYI, all 5 premium pages are included free with any school or district bundle. So tip number 3 is to provide a next step. And this is something that's critically missing in almost everything else that's on the market. So there's lots of tools, career and STEM included, to help students become aware of their interests. But there's not a lot of stuff out there for students who already know what their interest is. So that's why I've developed the STEM Career Challenge program. These are online training programs for students who are already interested in something, and it gives them the tools and knowledge they need to take the next steps towards that career. So here's what it looks like from a student's perspective. So all of our challenges are thematic in nature, and they focus on a specific career. So for example, we have Computer Science Challenge, Sustainability Analyst Challenge, where it hones in on a career, and it gives students lots of different digital resources to explore, web quests, videos, online quizzes, and each challenge includes a challenge. A hands-on way for students to, again, test drive and take a deeper dive on that career to see if it's what they are really interested in. The Challenge program has been very popular among gifted and talented programs in Texas, I think especially because it is self-paced, it is personalized, and also it is very robust and can be used in lieu of existing curriculum for students who have tested out and already mastered something. So if we're truly to be preparing the next generation of leaders and innovators, this is one of those critically needed tools to help students take that next step where very few next steps currently exist. And teachers also get everything they need to integrate the challenges and seamlessly implement them in their classrooms. So every teacher that enrolls in our system gets a teacher pack, which is essentially the hard copies of everything the students will be doing in the challenge. So for example, an editable Word document rubric is what students should be doing, and giving them guidance on how to implement the challenge in their classrooms. All Fort Worth teachers and students get 25% off through our existing contract. Which leads me to our final slide. Everything that we've previewed so far is available individually or in bundles, where you can get everything for all teachers in your school. Fort Worth page on our website just describes everything that you're eligible for with helpful links. So you have everything you need to go back and take a look at everything we've discussed. I know many of you will be watching this recording at home or at school, so if you do have any questions about anything you've seen, or if you'd like to try a free resource or one of the free sample challenges, I'd be happy to provide that information for you, or we can set up a one-on-one call where we can go over the specific needs and how we can fit in at within your programs at Fort Worth. So again, thank you so much for being part of this. You can email me anytime at ashley@careerinstem.com, and I'd be thrilled to provide you with, again, that free resource to see what our lessons are like and the guest login to try one of those STEM challenges. And again, don't forget to check out the Fort Worth page on our website for a reminder of everything that we have to offer you under our existing contract with 25% off. Thanks again.